What do you cook on, Cody?
So I'm cooking on short rib drum smokers at the moment, and then I cook chicken on hasty bake
Okay.
suburban.
Okay.
Attaboy.
Okay. Hasty baked suburban. Oh, that's a good cooker,
Yep,
man. I've seen that thing in action
Those
a few
short
times.
ribs, man. Those short ribs been around a while.
Hey,
they have. Yeah,
didn't you used to cook on a Jambo?
I did. Back years ago, we were lucky enough to get sponsored with Lone Star Pit.
Yep.
I had a J3. Yep,
Okay.
and I mean that would be my preference to be honest. And I finally was able to get a toy hauler and a trailer, and I have a backyard that I love as well, but I've just never mounted a winch in there, and it's kind of a pain in the butt
Getting
loading
in and
and
out.
unloading by myself.
Right.
And to be honest, there was a good part there where I was getting my tail whipped by drum cookers all the time. It just
Right.
seemed like it kind of switched to that, and so I got kind of got my hands on a couple and started using them and been on them ever since. It's just a lot easier when I'm by myself to load and
Yeah.
unload and get,
Well, let
you
me
know, a
know
lot of
what you want for
times,
that backyard jambo. I'll take it off your hands.
man, you and 100 other people.
Yeah. They're
I
ready to get it.
I'll never get rid of that thing because I
It's a
love
good
it.
cooking. It's a
I
good
love,
cooking
and
Jamie
I'm
machine.
calls me his jambo pimp. So you just
yeah,
let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. There
that's
you
what I've
go.
heard.
Wow.
I love them, and I'm a stick burner by heart, man. That's traditional to me, but there's something to be said with them drums. There's a lot of great cookers out there that are sure kicking butt and taking names with them.
So on the drum, I know cooking you like your brisket and ribs. I said you cook your other on the hasty bake. Do you cook your brisket over the coals, or do you put a pan under it, or do you have the stuff dripping down in it? How do you do that on a drum?
No, sir. I use a wire rack like everybody else probably does for ribs, things like that.
Right,
And every now and then I'll put a little like a disposable aluminum
up
pan,
underneath it.
like a yeah, even like a pan lid will work.
Yeah,
But I use a sheet of foil usually
right,
just to kind of give it that little extra barrier. Those
right.
the grates that I have in that short rib are real thick and pretty heavy, and they get hot, so they put off a lot of radiant heat. I need to
Yep,
put some probably Weber grates or something in there
right.
to work a little better, a little less heat from the bottom.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's what I do, and I've tried my best to keep my timelines, everything the same as my Jambo, not change anything too much, and having that foil under there.
Slows it
Justin
down.
West, Justin West gives me hell every time he cooks with me because there ain't no way it take you that long to cook ribs or cook brisket. And I'm like, you do you. Let me.
Uh, that's right. That's right. That's
and
right.
and kudos to the guys that do and can do it hot and fast. I said this last night on his show, and people are probably tired of hearing it. I'm like an old dog. I don't like new tricks.
That's it.
So
I'm slow
when
it.
you
Keep it
find something
slow.
that kind of works, I try my best to keep rolling with it. You know.
Yeah. So what is your brisket about a 5.5, 6 hour brisket?
No, you're gonna laugh.
Longer than that?
So I give myself a 10-hour window from start to finish.
Okay.
If it takes 6 hours, great. If it takes 9 hours, fine too. I don't care.
So you're kind of
Uh,
cooking it. You're cooking it pretty slow then.
I try to keep it up at 300, and
Okay.
everybody gives me a hard time. I do.
And
Uh,
it's
300
take
is taking you more than
that
six
long.
hours.
yeah. You can ask Chris Hatcher this weekend. He cooked
Cody,
right.
you need to check that gauge, brother.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I'm
thinking.
sure. Hey, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
because
it's what I've all. It's the same timeline I did on the Jambo.
that's crazy. See, I'm like on mine when I do like around the house and stuff in virtual cooking classes. I cook my brisket on a WSM because I'm not firing up my big cooker for one brisket, right?
Right.
And I do the same thing. A 22-inch WSM. I clip a probe right next to the meat, 1 inch from the meat. So I
Yep.
got a digital probe, and then I run on my bottom middle rack on that WSM. I run tinfoil all the way up underneath it, and I leave four of the grates open on each side, so that way the
Yes.
heat can come up around it, and
Sure.
it's probably a 3 inch gap on each side of it. And I take my key or a knife and I just cut little slits in it to let the juice kind of drip through it. Now running that thing at 300 degrees, it is 2.5 hours. I'm at 155 degrees and I'm wrapping. And then I'll slow it down to like 275, and that brisket is done in 5.5 hours. 5 to 5.5 hours every single time. 5 hours and 15 minutes to 5.5 to be exact.
But Mike, what size brisket are you cooking?
I'm cooking I'll take a 18-pound brisket. I'm trimming it down, and I'll leave all the point meat up underneath it. It's 2.5 inches thick, and it's 15 inches long and 7.5 inches wide.
So 7.5 pounds.
So it's
Cody,
probably it's probably about an 8-pound brisket.
What size brisket you cook for comp?
Same thing. By the time I get it one trimmed down, I'm about
6 to 9 pounds.
Yeah, I'd say between probably 5 and 7, somewhere in there, 6-7 pounds maybe.
Well, so I can tell you this, that and Cody's right, because when I went to Meridian a few weeks ago, it was the first place brisket. I was with Jamie Gear and all the guys on the Jambos and stuff, and it took me 7 hours on the drum with my brisket. But
Wow.
I just slow rolled it, man. I started it slow, I ended it slow, I stayed in that 275, 300 range. Remember, I don't have a gauge that works because mine spun so many times it just
It's
broke.
broke. Yeah.
So I go off of just what I know on my dampeners and stuff, and so I can kind of see it. But it was 7 hours solid for my brisket. That's the first place brisket.
Yeah.
It was 7 hours solid. They were like, "Hey man, we've never tasted anything like this before." It's a drum brisket. Slow it down, do your thing. It's just very. It isn't very steaky, but it's not. It's smoky, but it's not like charred.
Right.
It's different.
I'll say this as well. I know a lot of people use lump charcoal in their drums.
Right.
I'm running old school blue bag Kingsford briquettes.
Blue bag, dog. That's it.
Really,
That's it.
Kingsford charcoal.
So
Okay.
that plays a little bit of a role in it as well. You know, it'll hold the
Yeah.
coals a little longer, but doesn't burn quite as hot. I would venture
Yeah.
to guess. You know.
No, it don't.
Yep.
It don't.
Do you use
It's a
wood
lake
with?
effect.
Do you use wood with that?
Yes, sir. I use wood chunks.
Wood chunks with that. Okay. That's interesting, man. That is really interesting. Old blue bag Kingsford, man, it's hard to beat. So,
You know, I used to run my fire basket. I always in my class, I have a stick of pecan in the middle of my basket, right? So I mean, I stand one stick, one split.
Right.
But I would put oak lump in the bottom. But I would used to use char logs, and I would put the char logs in there instead, and I'd put some lump on the top. So yeah, the bottom is your heat source, but as the fire burns down,
Right.
it give you that flavor. So the top 2 or 3 inches or 5 inches is your flavor, and so the blue bag is your flavor, right? I call that the lake effect. Anytime you're near water, a body of water, that Kingsford Blue Bag is what they're used to.
Yeah.
Sure.
So anytime I go anywhere near water, I run Blue Bag as my fuel.
Yep.
If you are in the desert, they don't have water. So you run wood, you run oak lump, you run something kind of lumpy. So you have that normal familiar flavor. But when you're near the water, any kind of body of water whatsoever, I run Blue Bag because that's the lake effect. I call that the lake effect.
Yeah. You take the class, you'll get all that information.
Take the class.
Take the class. All right. So, do you do the same process on your ribs, Cody?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Still Kingsford charcoal and low and slow.
That's all I run on the chicken cooker as well.
Yeah.
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 I've been
Blue Bag is the bomb, man. It's just it's the flavor of the season, man.
I've been fortunate enough to have them sponsor me about the last 3 years. So
Okay.
and I love it. It's, you know, like you said, it's a familiar flavor with most
AJ, take
people.
the class.
Yeah. Now you're saying the blue bag. You're talking about the white and blue bag that
Just
you
the
can get
regular.
the
Yes,
old regular
sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Good old
'Cause I do-
Kingsford Blue Bag.
yeah, I think they do have a professional that is.
They
blue,
do. Yeah,
but-
you're right. So
Yeah,
let me say
just-
original.
Yeah,
Kingsford
the original. Yeah, that's
Buy
it.
the old 18.99 2-pack. Just buy
Yeah,
the 2-pack.
yeah.
You know.
That's what I do. I catch them things 16.9
4
pounds.
bags of Blue Bag in my trailer any given day.
Yeah.
I
Man,
hope
that
you
is
have some
really-
of that bags of pecan lump in there too.
Man, I'm out. We haven't burned none because of the heat. Now we're getting
Right.
back into the winter season, so we don't make the charcoal till after November, and so we're going to pick up a load here pretty quick. So
Yeah.
Right.
Purvis is wanting to know when the class is. Don't worry, Bill. We've already been cornering him. So, oh goodness gracious, man! I tell you what, Cody, you've been on fire. I'm telling you, it is impressive. You rolled out, Labor Day weekend, and you hadn't looked back. And man, you've got it. You're kicking on all 8 cylinders. That's for sure, dude. So.
Well, I appreciate it.
And it's really cool to see that you've made the transition because I kept thinking you was on your old Jambo. I didn't really realize you was on your drums. So
If I had it, I sure would be probably.
yeah.
But it
No,
also,
you would
you know,
not.
No, you
would
wouldn't.
not. You're not going to change nothing. Come on, man. You're not going to change.
You got it going on right now. You probably wouldn't
Well,
change. So
You're
It'd be
right.
hard.
It's working, but man, y'all know them Jambos are hard to beat.
They're hard to beat.